Thank you. Really warm welcome back to you all. Lovely to see you. Gangs slowly gathering back together as we get the archetypes, embodying the archetype circles back in swing. So we've got our interesting session today. We've been continuing the theme of wholeness, and we've got a little development of that. But as always, just to give the little setup of our session, our time together. Well, thank you for joining us. It's really lovely to have you all here. Our sessions are by donation. So by all means, just be here. But if at any point you do feel like chucking a few quid our way, we'll always gratefully receive whatever amount. We really appreciate it whenever anybody does feel able to donate. And I think David's got the link that he can put in the chat for anyone who feels up to that. As always, we warmly welcome you. We warmly welcome anybody you know. So do feel free to invite others to this space and this circle. We want to keep growing it, keep growing the impact of embodying the archetypes. And while you're here, just a reminder that one of our key principles is that we are all fully self-responsible, that I'm responsible for me and everyone in this room is responsible for you. So everything we offer is a guidance, is a possibility. And while we encourage you to step into the stretch of anything, also really want to make sure that you listen to your own body's wisdom. And if anything feels out of reach for you, either physically or emotionally, or you want to make your own adjustments because you think it'll be more effective, then please feel free to do so. I really respect it actually when I see people doing that. It's kind of like, it means I can relax because I don't have to kind of be on guard to make sure everybody's all right, because I know everyone's looking after themselves. It's brilliant. I love it. Self-responsible world. Beautiful place.
Can I just tap into the group wisdom? How do I paste on a Mac? What's the control thing that I need to do?
Command X and then Command V.
Command V. Okay. Thank you.
David's moving to Mac, so he's got hours of fun ahead of him. And also obviously that we hold the space as confidential. We are recorded, so be aware if you want to share that the recording goes out to our YouTube channel and could be listened to anyone. So be aware of that, but we do love to encourage your shares, and I think so far most people seem to be pretty happy to just share what's going on for them in the sessions. And if you want to, you can always share in the chat as a more anonymous way of letting us know what's going on for you. So we've got Easter coming up in the UK. I think most are you all in places living that it celebrate Easter? Yeah. And we were talking about that aspect of Easter that is about death and resurrection, and we've been thinking about wholeness and your sovereign wholeness, the fact that we are whole as beings, but that sometimes in order to really make the most of that wholeness, there are things that we just want to let go of, that we want to kind of not keep doing or not keep allowing into our lives or our experience. It might be behaviors, it might be people, it might be other people's behaviors, any number of things. And so we want to explore this from the perspective of the archetypes and how the different archetypes might have different qualities of letting go for us to explore. Some of them may be more robust, some of them may be more gentle and flowing. And David and I have a few ideas that we're going to share with you, but we're also really interested for you to explore your own ideas from the starting point of each archetype of sovereign, of warrior, of magician, and of lover. When you embody those qualities and you decide to let things go, is there a particular way that archetype supports you to let things go? We had quite a lot of fun testing this out together, so it'd be interesting to see what you will come up with. David, I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
The only other thing that we spoke about when we were planning this was so I'm Jewish by culture, by background, by tradition. And Easter often coincides with the Jewish Passover, which was about the Jewish people coming out of exile and coming out of slavery. So it feels like, in a way, the themes are quite similar with this idea of Easter, with the idea of, what do you feel enslaved to? What do you feel chained to? And if you could, what would you unchain yourself from? What would you free yourself from, so that it allowed you to move forward in your life or take a new direction?
Yeah, and creating a bit more space for the other stuff that you want more space for as well. So if you'd like to join me standing, you can engage with this sitting if that's where you're at today, if that's where your energy's at. But if you'd like to join me standing, we'll have a play, and David's gonna kick us off with Sovereign and Warrior as a starting point.
Okay, so if you're sitting, then you can do all of this seated. Somebody's just come in, but you're going to deal with that. Thank you. Okay, so if you're standing, then to start with Sovereign. Welcome, Alexandra. We're just about to get into the embodied practical aspect of embodying the sovereign archetype. Hi, Alessandra.
Hi, thank you. I'm so sorry I'm late. I'm at work, so trying to connect from somewhere quiet.
Great. Well, you're very welcome. And we're just about to start the practical embodiment part of this. And we're looking at letting go of things so that we can leave space for new things in our lives for as we move forward. Okay, so if I could ask you to put yourself on mute, just in case there's any background noise, that would be fantastic. So starting with your feet about shoulder width apart and standing as best you can at the moment in an upright and dignified position. Looks like everyone is standing now. But for anyone who's seated, being seated and upright and dignified with your feet flat on the floor. And briefly scanning through your body, starting at the feet and moving through the legs into the pelvis. Bringing your attention to your body, to the top half of your body, the belly and the back, the chest and the shoulders, the arms, and your head. And balancing the body so that your weight is evenly distributed. And allowing your attention to expand so that it's all around you, to your right and left, in front and behind, above and below you. And then allowing yourself to relax the core muscles of the body, the forehead, the muscles around the eyes. Relaxing the throat and the chest, the belly and the pelvis. Feeling the weight dropping down. Maybe you can feel it dropping lower into the floor. And that foundation pushes you back up so that you have perhaps even an embodied sense of your dignity. Maybe imagining that you have a crown on your head or a cloak on your shoulders falling to the floor. And taking a moment to connect in with your sovereignty. And that maybe if you think of a particular area of your life, maybe it's work, maybe it's your parenting, maybe it's relationships, maybe it's your health, maybe it's finances. And in this sovereign embodiment, taking a moment to think about or feel, what would you like to let go of? And the invitation here is to think of that thing that you want to let go of, and then physically do this movement from, for those of you that know the embodied toolkit, the letting go pose. So this idea of allowing yourself to fall forward, relaxing your legs so that there's no strain in the back of your legs, allowing yourself to fall forward and let your arms hang, let your head hang, and maybe shaking your arms a little bit, shaking your head a little bit. If you're feeling a bit uncomfortable, then feel free to come back up again so that you don't feel uncomfortable. But coming back down and shaking, gently shaking off or gently relaxing and letting go whatever it is that you want to release. And maybe gently shaking to help that happen. Maybe moving the legs a little bit to help that. Using the breath to breathe out a little bit as you're doing it, that might be helpful. Or anything else that comes to you that might be of use to you. And whenever you feel ready, bring yourself back up slowly so that you give yourself a chance to get used to being back upright again. Lovely, great. Now you might decide that you want to let go of something but that wasn't enough, or that you want to let go of it even more than that. And this might be something where warrior might be quite useful. So my invitation here is perhaps to start moving around as warrior. So for those of you that are maybe a little newer to this or not so familiar with it, this idea of perhaps focusing on a point on the wall in front of you and walking very fast and determined towards that point on the wall. So you're very focused with the eyes, you're taking very strong movements forward. You could even strongly move backwards and kind of feeling that feeling of building the fire inside of you as you walk. And that as you're thinking about letting go of something maybe a little bit more fiercely or a little bit more in a more determined or committed way, that as you're walking, you might want to maybe want to do a kick. Yeah, so you might want to throw your legs out to kick it away. That might be quite something nice to do. Or you might want to maybe move forward and push them out of the way. Yeah, like you're trying to get through a crowd. It's like push them to one side or push them away from you. Yeah, exactly. That's right. You got it. So there's this feeling of deflecting. Yeah, so you could really have this feeling of push away, really solid, like let it go. Or it could be this feeling of kicking, or it could be this feeling of deflecting, like you're stepping forward and deflecting something off to one side, or even stepping backwards and deflecting off to the other side as well. So using that more dynamic, that dynamic energy of warrior, yeah, that allows you to let go and create space for yourself. Lovely. Great. Handing over to you, Thea.
Great. Thanks, David. I enjoyed that. A few things I was kicking into touch. I quite like the hold it up and then off you go. Had enough of you now. A few things in my life that I kind of want to get rid of in that way. I've entertained you for long enough and now it's time for you to go. So let's move into magician pose, the magician embodiment. And if you're familiar with this, then you'll remember that magician has a lot of very upright feeling. There's quite an airy quality to magician, so you can just rise a little bit off your toes if you want to, being aware of your own stability in your ankles, your leg strength, and that feeling of your gaze going up, your body reaching up. Magician holds the overview, has an awareness of the all, very comfortable to be in the unknown, not to try and fix things, but be in the magic and the mystery. So there may be a bit of movement here for you. And from here, just imagine that as the magician, you want to let go. And what are the qualities of magician? How might your magician just let things go? And for me, I actually get almost it's like a feeling of just, because I have the expanse, I can just almost push it away, like just like cobwebs. Like, oh, that doesn't need to be there. And then seeing clearly through to what you want there, what you do want to connect with. And you might want to take this into movement. And it's almost even just letting it be, because you have such an overview that you can just go, it doesn't matter. That I can just let that be. It doesn't matter. It doesn't need to impact me. Or gentle moving it aside. Just let it go in order to really have the focus that you want to have from your standpoint as embodying your magician. If your arms get a little bit too heavy, you can still do it with a bit upward movement, but around your chest area. And it's got quite a light feeling for me. It's not got that robustness of a warrior. It's just got a sense of, oh yeah, go on, go. Great, now there's what I want. There's the magic. There's the mystery. And play with it yourself. Is there anything else? If you're with things that you would like to let go of, things that you are over, is there anything that comes to you, a magician, that helps you to move beyond it, leave it behind? Okay, beautiful, thank you. So when you've had a little moment of that, let's come back to neutral, come back to your just standing stance, letting magician settle. We've been quite up, so take a moment to feel your feet on the floor. Get that feeling of being back more connected to the solidity of life. And then let's step into lover. Let's embody the aspect of lover. So with lover, there's quite often I feel it as both a stepping back to receive, but also a gentle stepping forward to give. So you can step back with your arms open, put your weight on your back foot, receiving. You can put your weight forward to gently give. Or you can move it if you want to move around. You can make this watery kind of hip. There's a hip movement with lover, bit of sensuality, slightly fluid movement. And you can bring receiving and giving into that. And that lover embodiment. And then think of something you want to let go of. And it might be something relative to lover, something relative to the way you relate to people, the way you are in relationships. And then just kind of let it go. Imagine that as lover, you're just helping it move downstream. Off you go, just gently pushing it off so it can tumble away from you. Doesn't need to bother you anymore. Anything else, let that go, move it aside. Doesn't need to actually even feel like it interrupts that sense of lover's connectedness, lover's ability to be with life, to be with love, to be with yourself. Just move it aside. And what does that open up space for? You're letting go of things. What is there room for more, something new to step in? Room for greater connection, room for new love, room for feelings of passion or tenderness in this embodiment. And see how it feels moving around the room, as much movement as you like, incorporating it in. And feel the difference between this and the way warrior might let go, the way sovereign might let go. And maybe just a couple of minutes to move between them all and have your own experiment. Like moving between the archetypes, what do you get in each archetype, or which one calls to you to have more of an experience of right now for a couple of minutes? And when you're ready, if you'd like to join us back at the screen for a few moments of debrief. I have to say, looking forward to hearing what you got. I just was exploring this beautiful sense with almost with sovereign and magician. There was almost in the letting go. With sovereign, I found like, well, sovereign's got the right just to walk away. Sovereign just like leaves it standing there and walks away. Or I found myself as sovereign just going, no, walking off, not now, walking off. And it felt quite like a sense of that like, yeah, I can just say no. And or even not say no, just walk away from it. And the same with magician, that sense of like the all exists and therefore it doesn't matter. It can be there, it can not be there, not bothered. But what did you experience? Any difference, anything that really spoke to you, anything that feels valuable? If you'd like to share out loud, then please unmute. If you'd like to share in the chat, then just feel free to give us your thoughts. Sanya.
I can go, yes. Like I am letting go of responsibility for other people. And as I say that, it hurts me. And as we started practice, I was very sad. There was sadness in me, and there is this heaviness of being responsible for people in the business, for clients, for so many things, for family. And then as we were doing exercise, I was becoming playful. I was like magician, just playing with balloons and kicking them away. And with love, I was like getting rid of them in a nice way, like I love you and I leave you. So it really brought lightness. And I think that's what I'm after, lightness, and not like, I hate this. So thank you. Very playful.
Beautiful, Sanya. Yeah, beautiful. May you bring that quality to that letting go. Yeah, that's lovely. Really great. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else like to share their experience or anything that they were particularly drawn to, found useful?
Yeah, I could go. I had a similar experience, especially with the lover. It really felt like natural just to let go with ease, or like without bad feelings or anything like that. Just like, oh, I don't really need to think about how people feel or think of anything that I do or not. It was just like, oh, I don't need this anymore. And it was interesting when you were saying to step back into the receiver mode, or to like step forward into the giver. And my body was just, it by itself went into the receiving mode, which is not a natural thing, but it was like, I maybe need to receive more because I'm just giving a lot these days. And it was just like super automatic. I didn't even think about it. It was interesting how the body kind of knows. So really, yeah, really nice.
It's really fascinating, Alexandra. It's so true. And you missed the beginning at the beginning when I really emphasized our self-responsibility in these sessions, and to go with what your body really gives you to go with. So I love that your body just naturally picked up on that. Okay, giving up, and I can do that. I do that till the cows come home. I want to practice my receiving. Beautiful, really great. The body knows, yeah, from David. Love it. Yeah, thanks for sharing, Alexandra. That's great. It can be effortless. Can be effortless.
Thank you.
I found myself just very quickly and easily creating a little sequence that involved all of them, starting with magician and then dropping down into the letting go of sovereign, and then sort of sprinkling it away with lover in the water, and then sort of shaking it off a little bit more fiercely with warrior. And it felt like a really nice little thing that just spontaneously happened, which is a nice thing to practice.
And then you could add with warrior, couldn't you? That no, you're not coming back. You're not coming back. As it's tries to sneak back in. Beautiful, David. I love that. Okay, so maybe if you'd be willing to just share in the chat some of the things you'd love to let go of. Like, what are some of the things in life that maybe you're like, we were talking about the Passover, what are you enslaved to, or what are you kind of stuck with or feel stuck with that you would like to just let go of? In the chat, maybe one or two things if you're happy to share. We've got hardship, responsibility, work, and fixing. That looks like a nice, easy, light life when you get rid of that lot, Sanya. Oh, worry. Yeah, worry. Yes, good to get rid of that. Expectations, responsibility, and worry. So a couple of common themes. There. Just connecting with what I want to let go of. Yeah, I'm going with what worry is a really great one. That's something that's really resonates for me to get rid of. Feeling not enough, fear, clutter. Alison, I'm bothering, but yeah, okay. I'm borrowing that. Thank you. And just the clutter around us, clutter, inner and outer, and worrying about responsibilities for others. Beautiful. Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much for sharing that, everybody. It's interesting to hear and great to see some of those common themes coming through. So we're here every week for the next now 11 more weeks, I think, David, is it? 12 more weeks. So we're here for 12 more weeks. We're going to be covering many different aspects of sovereignty and the archetypes and how they support our sovereignty in the world in that time. We would very much love to keep welcoming you to the space, and we would also love to bring more people into this space. So please do, if you think of anybody who would value this in any way that it's been useful to you, then please invite them and share the link with them. The recording will be up on our page in the next few days whenever David gets around to it. And at the moment he's on a course. So I don't know if you'll be able to do that very soon, David. Yeah, okay. So the recording will be up soon. So if people can get a little taster, if they want to see a recording to see if the group is going to suit them. But I think you can vouch for us that they'll be made warmly welcome if anybody does join us. So thank you for joining us. And if you'd all like to leave in our traditional way by unmuting and saying your goodbyes, thank you very much for spending this time with us.
Okay, thank you so much. That was lovely. Thanks.
Thank you.
Lovely
Thank
to
you.
see you.
It was brilliant, as ever.
Thank you, Alison. Take care.